I'm having a hard time with RxJS and Qwik. It's harder than I thought it would be. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I keep coming up with tentative solutions and then realizing that it's not good enough because I come up with a new example that it doesn't work in. So here's the last one that I tried to figure out. Let's see. I'm zooming in more than normal here. So where is it? Right here. All right. So you've got some predefined streams here, and then you have an ID observable that basically is a switch, like it's a toggle or whatever between these three observables. And basically, based on this, you're going to subscribe to one of those three observables that are predefined, okay? This is a possible example that could happen in RxJS, all right? So what happens in Qwik if you do this the way I have been thinking about it? First, it's going to run a subscribe hook, which there will be a store associated with this with a like ref count or something. It like the count, it's how many things are how many subscribers this observable has. Okay. So that will get serialized. Okay. And I'm constructing this observable on the server and subscribing to it. And in place of the input observables, you're going to define it with, so there will be a hook, and then inside the hook you have to pass a blank arrow function first, and then you pass another function that you'll use to grab the observable from the store. Okay? And so when you grab that observable, what I do is I'm going to wrap it inside a defer call so that once you subscribe to it, so this is only is subscriptions that cause this behavior. Okay. When you subscribe to it, it will mark that you're now depending on this observable. Okay. So when that gets serialized and passed to the client, if nothing is subscribed to this in that serialized subscription data, then you don't need to load the behavior subject or any of the downstream RxJS because nothing's listening to it. So that's the model that I've moved to because it's more Qwik friendly, and yeah, there are like long-term consequences to it maybe, but so here's what happens. This gets called, and imagine you don't have a do bounce time actually. It just immediately, synchronously runs the switch map and then grabs this observable. What's going to happen is on the server, you're going to now have a subscription to this serialized on the client. Okay. Now this gets sent to the client and it's just serialized. It's just HTML. And then they change the ID, which has a subscription. So it actually causes things to happen. They change it to 2. What happens then? Well, this will now subscribe to the second one. But guess what? The first one subscription never gets cleaned up. Because once we're on the client and we're using these RxJS streams, we can have a finalize that gets called to clean up subscriptions, to decrement in the parent store or the dependent store, the parent, whatever, the store above that subscription count. We can clean that up. But once it's serialized, we don't have RxJS behavior to use to trigger that finalize. So this was the last problem, the most recent problem I have encountered, and so far my solution to it is to okay, how did I get to the solution? I'm trying to remember. Right. So what I actually need to have happen is the parent store, the above store, to react to the lower store. Okay, so that's like backwards. So I can't do a track. You can't refer to it. Whatever I define this in, I can't. Once after it's serialized, I can't. Like this is never going to be like with a 1. This is never going to be called on the client. So how do I know even what dependency? Like I don't know about any dependencies at runtime, like on the client. I do not know any dependencies that have been serialized with my old strategy. So I don't know what to clean up. So I have to keep a list of dependencies on this store. But then I need a way to refer to the parent store based on that ID. How do I get the parent store based on its ID? Okay. I like in general, not like using the key of this thing. That just pretend these are 3 top level things, and I've got custom logic in here to select one of 3 or 2 streams that are predefined. How do I, like, each store needs an ID, a unique ID, and then how do I grab the parent store so that I can decrement its subscriber count or whatever? And I realized actually what needs to happen is I need like a global context that stores all the relationships between the stores. So basically a subscription graph, it needs to be one object, because then I can update it from any store and it will I can use it. I can have stores that are higher up react to stuff that happens down here. So basically what will happen is when this runs on the server, it's going to, in that defer, when it grabs the observable and subscribes, it's going to set on the global subscription graph, like the global, subscription graph. It's going to get the parent ID, and it's going to say, and then it's going to put this store's ID as something that's subscribed to it. So then, let's see. Right, when it gets to the server, and then you get a new ID coming through, we're going to know this is going to run, and it's going to produce a new set of dependency subscriptions, and we're going to be able to. I think it also needs to be local just for efficiency, so it has a local list of dependency IDs. And then we'll go to the subscription graph and remove this store's ID from that. But I'm still really fuzzy on the details, because what about asynchronous stuff? Because once it runs on the client, maybe you do have a delay after this, and then it creates another subscription. How do we know? So yeah, actually it needs to be unique. A list of dependencies that's unique IDs, so that at any time, if it's adding it, it's going to, well, how do I know that? So if you can add an ID, a dependency ID, later on, how do I know what isn't supposed to be a dependency? Because it's never like a fresh, I can't count on it being a fresh set of new dependency IDs. So how do I get rid of stale ones? That is a good question. I don't think it should be that hard. There should be a way to do it. Basically, before I create the subscription at all, I can set aside the current or old list of dependency IDs, and then with the subscription, use defers or whatever to update that list, and synchronously I can remove. So after I create the subscription, immediately after, I can go clean up the old ones, because synchronously this will create a list of current dependency IDs. And then right after that, I can check which ones are old and clean those up. And then asynchronously, this will continue to update and, add and remove those dependency IDs as necessary. So that is how it can work. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit complicated, but anyway, so hopefully I'll be able to figure this out really soon. And I mean, I'm trying to come up with more RxJS examples so that, like, one case that I still haven't considered is, what if something completes on the server? So if it's like an of, I don't remember where I had that example. I had one, but anyway, if it's like an of, then it self-completes, then how do we propagate that down to subscribers? That is something that I still haven't really thought through. But I feel like it might be an extra mechanism I add on top, and it might not actually be that hard to implement. That's my hope. So I will continue thinking through this and plan it out, and just, that's what this is, just constant iteration. It's been a very non-linear process. This doesn't look like what I thought it would. So yeah, this is fun, but it's hard. And let's see, I'm going to, so once I figure this out, I'm going to make a video, and along with the article, I've already written the hard part of the article, which is just like the introduction and the reasoning to set it all up, the general approach that I'm taking. And I'll publish that hopefully this week, depending on how long this takes and how much time I have. But one thing that will affect this in the future is signals. How will Qwik signals affect the integration with RxJS? Because it'd be nice if RxJS always outputted to signals or whatever, so that it can do fine-grained rendering. That would be ideal. So that'll change some things. Also, Qwik is apparently learning how to serialize promises, not just resolved promises, but the current state. So I'll have to look at that, see if there's a way to use that with this, or how it might affect it. But these things are going to be spread out over time. So I'm going to have other videos in the meantime. I need to make the to-do app, to-do MVC, with state adapt. So I'm going to take an Rx Angular app, and I'm going to convert to state adapt and make a video about that. I want to release state adapt 1.0 soon. And so I'll be converting a bunch of projects again in Angular, and I'll be creating some adapters or adapter creation methods. And then I'll release 1.0, and then I'm going to look at React and all these state management libraries in React. Then I'll look at Svelte and all the state management libraries in Svelte, and then Solid, and then Qwik again. So it'd be crazy if I got state adapt working in Qwik, because that'd basically be Redux DevTools support on top of this stuff, this RxJS stuff. It's going to be quite different, because adapter methods would need to be asynchronous, ideally. So that would require a lot of work to figure out. So that's the long-term plan with what I'm doing. But as updates come with Qwik and Solid, like if interesting things happen in these different frameworks, I'm going to update these things and make videos about them. So, all right. Let me know if you have any ideas about this, and if there are any examples you think I may not be thinking about, or anything. So yeah, all right. Thanks for watching. See ya.